Hey guys, just doing another blog. I missed a blog yesterday, so I'm 2 for 2 for having 2 days, or I guess missing a blog and then doing a day on the second day, or a blog on the second day. You know what I mean? Like I didn't do one on the 13th, and I think I didn't do one on the 15th. So today's the 16th. So, but either way, I'm getting them done. Kinda. I mean, it's not like I have to talk every day, but trying to keep the habit of just doing a once a day thing, but sometimes you get busy or you forget or do other things. As far as what I've been doing since my last blog, there have been some changes in my medication doses. Um, they reduced my long acting insulin, the twice per day, by another 10%. So it's currently prescribed at 36 units twice per day, down from an original 50 units twice per day. So I'm happy about that. I'm trying to get closer to zero as time goes by, as my insulin sensitivity increases and the resistance goes away. Ideally, I would like to get completely off of the injected insulin and just rely on my own body's production of it. Um, Blood sugar numbers have been pretty good. I did have I guess, a higher carb meal yesterday because me and my brother went out to sushi after he got his haircut. And that spiked my blood sugar to, I want to say, like maybe 225, which isn't high in regards to what I have experienced in the past, but it was high in comparison to the last basically 5 or 7 days that I've been mostly in the 100 to 170 range. Um, the majority of the time that I've been checking my blood sugars. So here's the graph from yesterday. As you can see, that high spike above the green area is where we ate sushi, and it went to probably about 225. Um, the odd thing, or not odd thing, but I guess the good thing, if you look at it in that way, is with that sushi meal, I did not eat mealtime insulin like I should have, mostly out of forgetting, and then once I had forgotten for like an hour. I realized an hour after the meal that I hadn't taken the mealtime insulin with it, and by then it was already coming back down, I think. So I was like, whatever, I'll just see where it goes, and it came back down to normal levels without any mealtime insulin. So I'm happy about that. And then again later in the night at 11 p.m. I had another meal in preparation to go to the gym because I've been preloading carbs to get my blood sugar up a little bit because every time I've hit the gym in recent weeks, it seems to crash back down, and I need to end up spiking it with like Gatorade or something when I'm at the gym. So I had I think two little grilled cheese sandwiches, so I would kind of call it more like one grilled cheese, depending on the size or portion that you're used to. But I had two grilled cheese sandwiches, small ones, and out of that, I ate one and a half of them before I got full. I didn't even finish the second one. And then I had some tomato soup that I got from Safeway, and I used that for dipping. And then I also finished the soup because I actually tomato soup's one of my favorites. Honestly, I don't know why. I've always liked it. And it's a decent amount of carbs in the soup and from the bread for sure. Especially since the bread's sourdough, which is my favorite, but it's also like more of a white bread, has a high carb, a decent amount of processing, blah blah blah, has sugar in it. So it's not the most healthy bread. But in any case, I had that. It spiked my sugar again. I did not take insulin because I did not want to reduce the spike because I was gonna go to the gym. I say was gonna because I ended up not going, but it spiked to about 180 at its peak, which is not high at all. Honestly, for the amount of carbs that I ate, I was kind of surprised. And without an insulin injection for the mealtime insulin, it peaked at 180 and started coming back down again. And I got lazy. I decided not to go to the gym for a second day in a row. Um, or maybe it wasn't a second day. It was not a second day. So I went the day before. So it was just one night, luckily, because I thought it was 2 nights. So now I'm kind of looking at it in less of a harsh point of view. But either way, I got lazy. I didn't go to the gym last night. I ended up just laying down and going to sleep. And in my sleep, without insulin from the mealtime insulin, I actually dipped down all the way to 69. Nice. No, 60, 69, which isn't super low, so I'm not very concerned about it because I didn't wake up to my glucose alarm going off. Um, and it did not continue to dip. It actually came back up after like a few minutes at being at about 69, and it came back up again. So without the mealtime insulin, it still hit a slight low, and that makes me think that maybe the mealtime insulins are not super necessary, or at least at the dose that I'm currently getting by a significant amount. So I sent that information to McKenna, my diabetic educator, and then I also sent it to my primary care physician. I always send them updates whenever I get a low or something like that. And I'm assuming that upon seeing that, and if I see further lows or whatever, um, they might reduce or remove at least the mealtime insulin as well, or just reduce everything and keep the mealtime insulin. I'm not sure. But a spike to 225-ish without insulin is a little bit of a high spike for our preference as a diabetic, because you don't ideally want to be much above 150, honestly, or I mean below 200 ideally. 225 is just a smidge high for a spike. Um, so she might want to keep some mealtime insulin on, um, and she might just reduce the overall, like across the board again. Because the last reduction of my insulin was a 10% reduction from 40 units to 39 units twice per day on the long-acting insulin, and then a 10% reduction on the short-acting insulin from 26 units with a sliding scale to 23 units. Sorry about all the dose talk, but it's kind of what's new with my situation. So, anyway, so instead of removing completely or severely reducing the mealtime insulin, she might just reduce everything by a certain percentage again and keep everything kind of where it's at as far as having 2 doses of long acting per day and mealtime insulin. So we'll see. But like I said, the goal is to get completely off of all the insulin, and I feel like I'm definitely getting closer to that goal as time goes by. And as I reduce the insulin that I'm taking, it will be easier to lose weight, as I've said in the past. So I feel like the progression of reducing my diabetes issues is going to only increase as the insulin goes down. Um, we'll see though. That's my hopes. That's my prediction. Um, other than that, I had my last class for the winter term yesterday, being Friday, the last day of week 10. Um, it was kind of more like just a review because they're not adding any extra work on the last day right before finals. I do have finals next week. Monday, really early at 8 a.m., is my anatomy and physiology final, which I'm a little bit stressed about, like I said in the last video. Concerned about it. I did the math roughly, and if my math is even a little bit off, it will probably need more, so I'm a little concerned about that. But if my math was correct, I need at least an 85% on the final to get my grade to a C. So, if assuming that my math is incorrect and I need more, then I probably should aim for a 90 plus, aka an A on the test, which is in that class, especially with my history of percentages from previous tests, is going to be very, very difficult. So I don't have high hopes, if I'm being honest. I'm a little dissuaded. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I do assume that I will pass this class with a, or not pass this class, but I will leave the end of this term with a D in that class, and I'll have to retake it. So I'm unhappy about that. I'll have to retake it anyway because I don't want a C anyway, because I want more points than that for the application process next year. But I'm not happy that I can't move on to the third tier of anatomy next term, as pending the results of the final still. So I'm going to do what I can, but at this point I almost feel like I shouldn't even bother stressing myself out over it and just accept the loss for a loss. And that's a little disheartening. I'm not happy with it. I need to change my studying habits. I need to change how I am approaching the anatomy class specifically, but it's just been very hard for me. And I walked into it cocky, and I shouldn't have. I need to take it more seriously next time. And I've said this last term as well. Apparently, I didn't learn, or at least I didn't learn enough. Obviously, if my grade's lower than it was last term. Last term involved a period of time where it was stuff I already knew a lot about, because a lot of it was review from cell biology. This class has been hard from the beginning. There was no review period. Everything was new information for me, and I just haven't done well. So yeah, I'm a little sad inside about that. But, you know, you move on, you keep going. You don't achieve things by stopping when and quitting when you fail to succeed on an attempt. You just keep trying and you go and attempt it again. So that's how I'm gonna approach it. Like I said, I've almost pretty much accepted my fate, but there's a glimmer of hope if I can get an A or higher, that I will pass with a C at least. So we're gonna try. But anyway, moving on. Diet. I've been hitting my 16 hours pretty much every day. I haven't really failed on that to my knowledge, or at least my remembrance of it. Let me look at my fasting. Yeah, I mean, each of these little green circles indicates a successful fast of 16 hours or more. So I've succeeded in that regard. Today I had breakfast with my once a month group that I meet with for breakfast, like past coworkers and stuff. So that was fun, but it kind of messed up my fasting for today, and I'm okay with that because you mess up one day, it's whatever. So I have a couple of options, and my first option would be to start my fast this morning, which I already saw. You saw the timer. I've already started the fast just in case I choose to continue with it. Um, and I could just do an extra long fast. So fast through today and then fast tomorrow and break my fast at the time I normally would. So I'm back on schedule or on track. So it'll probably end up being like a 30 something hour fast again, which isn't bad. A long fast is good every now and then. Um, it probably would be the most beneficial to me if I was to do it that way. The other thing, though, that's in the back of my mind is I skipped the gym yesterday. I want to go to the gym today, and if I go to the gym today, I suspect that my blood sugar levels will not accept the gym workout without having to spike it, which will then break my fast. So, and I don't know. Long story short, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to work tonight from 2:30 to 11 like I'm scheduled. Break my fast, or I'm gonna go to the gym after work, which would be normally what I would be doing if I was on my normal fasting schedule. And if the gym requires that I spike my sugar because it goes low, Then I will spike my sugar, break my fast. I will eat since my fast is already broken, and then I will from that point start a new fast and just going back on my normal schedule. Which that's not super detrimental, but I won't get a full 16 hours in today, which is fine. The breakfast was kind of like throwing things out of whack anyway. If I'm able to hit the gym, though, and I am not seeing a low blood sugar level from hitting the gym for my 1 hour like I usually do, then I will just continue the fast until breaking it the next day, and I'll have that 30 something hour fast I was assuming I would have. So I think that's my game plan. It will depend on my blood sugar levels and how much they accept the workout from the gym, which I think is a fair, not trade, what's the word I'm looking for? A fair compromise. So that's my idea slash goal for tonight, and hopefully it works out well. I did get new information on my carpal tunnel situation. If I didn't mention it in previous videos, I had carpal tunnel symptoms back in December where 3 weeks long I had numbness in these 6 fingers, my 2 thumbs, my 2 pointers, and my 2 middles, completely numb for 3 weeks straight. As the 3 weeks continued, the symptoms improved because eventually they stopped becoming numb. So week 2 was less numb than week 1, week 3 was less numb than week 2, etc. So not completely numb the entire 3 weeks, but the numbness was present, and it made me aware of my carpal tunnel syndrome situation progressing to a point that that could happen. So I went and I got a referral from my primary care physician to Dr. Sai, who did my cubital tunnel syndrome surgery, which, if you haven't seen my scars on my elbows, are those 2 scars right there. Cubital tunnel is like carpal tunnel, but it involves the the pinky and ring fingers on both hands being numb instead of those. So the previous surgery, Dr. Sai cut my elbows open to decompress the nerve at the elbow and allow feeling to return to my uh, pinky and ring fingers on both hands. So he is the same one that I had in the past for my past surgery. He's the one who did the EMG, I think it's called, which is electromagnetic gram or something. I don't know. An electrical test to see what the nerves are conducting, at what speed they're conducting, etc. So, in the past, it already showed slight carpal tunnel on the right and left, but not enough at that time to need surgery for it. Since I got those progression of symptoms and I required splints and anti-inflammatories to reverse those symptoms back to normal, they went ahead and decided when I met with them to proceed with the surgery as long as I was okay with it, which I'm more of a fix-it kind of person. So a lot of people want to avoid surgery, so they'll do the stuff to prolong it, but eventually they'll end up needing surgery later anyway, or they'll have to do those preventative measures for the rest of their life. I am more of a go and fix it now kind of guy. So I agreed to the surgery right away instead of trying to do treatments that might prolong or reduce the need for it. So I am scheduled for surgery on both my wrists for carpal tunnel April 5th. And yeah, a little bit nervous about that. I'm nervous about it. I've been nervous about any kind of surgery or procedure, but it is a quick-ish one. And he said that the dependency that I will experience afterwards will be significantly less than the elbow surgeries that I've had in the past. The recovery time is 4 to 6 weeks, with likelihood of needing only 4 weeks instead of 6 weeks, because it's a less significant recovery period than the cubital tunnel was. However, my suspicion, it's a word, guys. My prediction, or something that I suspect, is that because Sorry, after about 20 minutes, my headset just turns itself off, so I wouldn't you wouldn't be able to hear me if I didn't turn it back on just now. Anyway, so what I suspect will happen is because of my diabetes, which slows healing process of wounds and whatnot. I assume that I actually will see closer to a 6 week recovery because the diabetes might affect the healing. Even though they expect it to be 4 weeks, I assume, or I'm going to go ahead and just assume that it's going to be the 6. So I've already notified my work, which I'm a little uncomfortable about because I just got hired there. I'm going on a 1 week or a 10-day trip to Kentucky at the end of this month, and then immediately after that, I'm going to have 6 weeks where I can't work full requirements of my work, aka I'll have to either be light duty or no work at all. I went ahead and emailed the guy that makes the schedule. I don't know if he's the appropriate person to notify, but I went ahead and emailed him. His name's Rex. And I guess waiting to hear back from them about that. I feel really bad about it, but it is what it is. I have a surgery coming. I can't change that. Um, it'll put me out for some money, obviously, because I'll be without work for a month to a month and a half. But I'm hoping because I do plan on attending school even with the surgery. Um, for spring term, which starts the first week of April and goes for 10 weeks. So I'm not assuming. I'm hoping that the money that I get from financial aid for that will cover um, that month to a month and a half that I will not have pay from work. So we shall see. As long as I don't spend the remainder on something silly or frivolous like going to Kentucky for a week for two people, which that was like an additional, what, $700 or something, or $800 out of what I got for my financial aid. So I'll have a little bit more this time around. I don't know. We'll see. Long story short, though, I'm gonna be a little bit tied up for money. We'll see how that goes. But it'll also give me a little more free time for school, which hopefully will help because I'll probably need it with the wrist surgery. I should be able to use my hands for computer typing and for writing, they said. But I'm assuming that the process of healing will reduce the speed that I am able to do my normal writing and computer typing. So I might need that extra time. So it might be a gift in disguise. We'll see. But anyway, um, and then I kind of lean on my mom a little bit financially more than I should or more than I want to. So she's kind of my backup plan if the amount of money that I get from financial aid from school is not going to cover the expenses that I have for that month and a half. I assume my mom will help me out with that. Which, she's always been my rock. She's a good mother and she's always been around to help me out like that. Um, and my dad, when he uh, is able to financially, he's always been there for me as well. But he doesn't have the resources that my mom has quite as much, and he's behind on his bills, so I don't want to lean on him as heavily for that. Mostly, I'm just hoping that the financial aid will cover it. So that's something I'm stressed about, but I'm also kind of like trying not to think about because I don't think that it'll become an issue because I think the financial aid will cover it for the most part, but we will see. Anyway, I'm kind of gabbing. I'm just talking. I don't have a whole lot else to catch you up on. And I made a little bit of a longer video today since I missed yesterday anyway, so um yeah, blood sugars are still in the 100s almost all the time now. Definite improvement. Um I will have to 2 weeks prior to the surgery stop taking my once a day Victoza shot, which I'm a little unhappy about because the Victoza reduces the speed that your stomach empties, which in turn makes you feel full longer. which also in turn helps with the fasting diet that I'm currently on. Um, so 2 weeks without that um, might make the fasting diet harder for me to maintain, but I'm hoping that since I've been on the fasting diet for about 3 weeks now, maybe more, um, the habit is there enough, and the feeling of need for the hunger will not return because I've been doing it for 3 weeks now. So, and I don't know the exact amount of weeks that I've been doing it, but I assume 3 because I feel it's more like 3-ish. I don't feel like it's been a month yet, but we'll see. My weight hasn't gone down much. I've noticed since I've been breaking my fast a lot more frequently at the 16-hour mark. My weight has stopped declining as much. I'm assuming because my caloric intake has increased with the bigger eating window and the shorter fasting windows. So it's making me feel like it would be beneficial for me to start prolonging my fast to 20 hours or more again. So I'm seriously considering starting to shoot for 20 or more regularly now instead of being settling for 16, which is what I like yesterday. I barely broke it, just barely after 16 hours. And I'm not seeing as much benefits from that. I've noticed eating a lot more carbs in my diet, which is okay, but again, for reasons of ketosis and whatnot, um, and just resistance to insulin and stuff, the higher carbs in the meals are not as beneficial, especially if they're processed carbs. And like times when I've gone to the theater and stuff, I have been drinking like regular soda because my mom refuses to drink 0 calorie because she thinks it's linked to dementia, which could be possible. Maybe it is linked, but she refuses it. And then I don't want to buy a whole nother drink at a theater for something that's 0 calorie for myself. So I just settle for drinking some of the regular soda, which is horrible. It has tons of fructose in it. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. But long story short, I've been eating more carbs than I should, and I need to improve my diet options as well as prolong the fasting window a little bit longer to 20 hours or more from now on. So I think if I have to break my fast today, um, that's going to be short no matter what if I have to break it due to the workout. But if I don't have to break it today and I get that 30 something hour fast in, I think from that point forward, I'm going to start setting my timer for 20 hours instead of 16 and being strict about that. So, and I'm not sure how the fasting will affect my ability to heal after surgery. I'll probably have to discuss that with my doctor as it gets closer or on the date of the surgery if he feels like I need to um, if he feels like I need to not fast during my recovery period. And I'm hoping that that's not how he feels because I want to continue my fasting lifestyle because I don't view it as a temporary thing. I view fasting as what I'm going to do for the rest of my life because I want to maintain my health, not go backwards again once. Like, I don't want to get skinny and then get fat again, or like get off of my insulin and then have to have it again in the future. Like, this is going to be a lifestyle change forever for me. Um, but if I have to, if he thinks that it's better to eat throughout the day instead of fasting for recovery reasons, I think I might accept that and get off of the fasting diet or go back to the 16 hours like I have been instead of trying to continue 20s moving forward. It all depends. I'll talk to him and I'll let him know that how I feel about it and the information I've learned about it and stuff. And um, hopefully we're on the same page with that, but we'll see. Anyway, we're at just under 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Hopefully, you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.